Did you know that margarine was once considered the hero of health, and now it's seen as the villain of diets? And butter, loved by many. But is it really that harmless? Today, we're diving into this culinary ring to discover which one is really more harmful to your health. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Vitality, and today I'm going to reveal surprising information that could change the way you view these two competitors in the kitchen. Let's go. Let's start with butter, the favorite of many cooks. Butter is made from cow's milk, specifically cream. The process is simple. Cream is churned until the fat globules separate from the liquid, forming butter. Besides being rich in flavor, butter is mainly composed of saturated fat. Saturated fat, isn't that bad? Hold on, we'll get to that. On the other hand, we have margarine, which was created as an alternative to butter. Originally, margarine was made from animal fat, but today, most margarines are made with vegetable oils. The manufacturing process of margarine is a bit more complicated. The vegetable oils are hydrogenated, meaning hydrogen is added to solidify the oil, making it more like butter in texture. This process, however, can create trans fats, notorious for their health risks. Speaking of trans fats, you might be wondering what they are and why they have such a bad reputation. Trans fats are formed during hydrogenation and are linked to an increased risk of heart disease. Studies show that regular consumption of trans fats can raise levels of LDL, the infamous bad cholesterol, and lower levels of HDL, the good cholesterol. Butter, on the other hand, is rich in saturated fats. And yes, in excess, saturated fats can also raise LDL levels in the blood. However, butter also contains important nutrients like vitamins A, D, E, and K, which are essential for various bodily functions. Additionally, some studies suggest that moderate consumption of butter might not be as harmful as previously thought, especially when compared to trans fats. But wait, modern margarine has evolved. Many brands now offer trans fat-free options using different processes to solidify vegetable oils. These margarines are often enriched with plant sterols, which can help reduce cholesterol. So, not all margarines are created equal. It's essential to read labels and choose options that are free of trans fats and rich in healthy ingredients. Another interesting thing about margarine is that it can contain polyunsaturated fatty acids, known for their cardiovascular benefits. These fatty acids include omega-3 and omega-6, which are essential for our bodies and can help reduce inflammation and improve heart health. So, what's the main difference between butter and margarine? Butter is a natural product made from milk and has a long history of culinary use. Margarine, on the other hand, is an industrial product created as a butter substitute, but its composition can vary greatly depending on the brand and manufacturing process. Now that we know what butter and margarine are made of, let's talk about how each affects our health. Ready to find out who the real villain is for our hearts? Let's start with butter. It's mainly composed of saturated fat, and you've probably heard that saturated fat can increase LDL cholesterol, which clogs arteries. Yes, that's true. Studies show that excessive consumption of saturated fats is linked to a higher risk of heart disease. Now let's look at margarine. Margarine's bad reputation mainly comes from the old versions packed with trans fats. These fats are terrible for health because they not only raise LDL cholesterol, but also lower HDL, the good cholesterol. The result? Higher risk of heart disease and inflammation. But how does this translate to our health in practice? Let's look at some studies. A study published in the British Medical Journal showed that replacing saturated fats with polyunsaturated fats can reduce the risk of heart disease. Moderation is key. Even trans fat-free margarines with beneficial fatty acids can be harmful if consumed in excess. The same goes for butter. Remember, no single food will determine your health. The important thing is to have a balanced and varied diet. And what about the natural versus processed debate? Many people prefer butter because it's less processed and more natural. This makes sense, especially if you choose high-quality butter from grass-fed cows. On the other hand, some modern margarines are enriched with plant sterols and other substances that can help lower cholesterol. Let's now talk about the nutritional and environmental aspects of butter and margarine. After all, what we put on our plate affects the planet too. First, let's look at the nutritional profile of butter. As mentioned before, butter is rich in saturated fats, but also contains essential vitamins like A, D, E, and K. These vitamins are fat-soluble, meaning they need fat to be absorbed by our body. Some margarines are also sources of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, essential for heart and brain health. So, If you're watching your intake of specific nutrients, margarine might offer some additional benefits. Now, let's explore the environmental impacts. Butter production requires a lot of energy and resources because it involves raising cattle. Cattle are a significant source of methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Additionally, dairy production uses large amounts of water and land. Studies show that the carbon footprint of butter is substantially higher than that of many other foods, including margarine. On the other hand, margarine, being made from vegetable oils, generally has a lower carbon footprint. However, this doesn't mean margarine is free from environmental impacts. The production of vegetable oils like palm oil can lead to deforestation and biodiversity loss, especially in tropical regions. Therefore, when choosing margarine, it's important to opt for brands that use sustainable and certified oils. What really matters is context and moderation. If you consume butter occasionally and within a balanced diet, it's fine. The same goes for margarine, especially the healthier and more sustainable versions. Remember to check labels, choose quality products, and whenever possible, opt for options that cause less environmental impact. And that wraps up this culinary showdown between butter and margarine. Remember to read labels and choose quality products. Ultimately, both butter and margarine can have a place in your kitchen, as long as they're consumed with balance and mindfulness. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any health and nutrition content. If you think the content is adding value to you, consider making a donation. Every bit of support helps cover costs and continue bringing more videos. The link is in the description. Thank you to the members who have already donated. I'll also leave a recommended video for you to watch that will further complement what we discussed here. I'm Dr. Vitality, and remember, health comes first.